The words exploded like shrapnel in the cramped living room of our family home, the air thick with the scent of Mom's overcooked roast beef and Dad's stale cigar smoke. The greatest gift you could give your brother for his wedding is if you just disappear from our lives. My mother's voice cracked like thunder, her face twisted in a mask of righteous fury, veins bulging on her neck as she jabbed a manicured finger at me. Dad nodded beside her, his arms crossed over his barrel chest, eyes cold as the winter drafts seeping through the cracked window frames. I stood there, frozen in the doorway, my coat still dripping rain onto the worn Persian rug, the invitation to Ethan's wedding clutched in my hand like a poisoned chalice. Humiliation burned through me, hot and acrid, mingling with the heartbreak of years of being the family's shadow, the unwanted daughter, the one who'd dared to fail. In that instant, as their words hung in the air like a noose, fury ignited deep in my gut, but beneath it, a colder flame, resentment sharpening into obsession. They'd chosen him over me one last time, but I wouldn't vanish. No, I'd make them regret ever uttering those words. The room spun slightly as I absorbed the blow, the familiar surroundings mocking me with their unchanged normalcy. The mantelpiece groaned under the weight of Ethan's trophies, football, debate, valedictorian, while my own achievements, meager as they were, gathered dust in the attic. I'd driven 3 hours through pouring rain to this godforsaken suburb, hoping for reconciliation, only to walk into an ambush. Mom's eyes, usually soft with feigned concern, now gleamed with something darker. Relief, perhaps, at finally voicing the unspoken. "Lila, you've caused enough drama," Dad added, his voice gravelly from years of chain-smoking, the yellowed wallpaper behind him peeling like old skin. "Ethan's marrying into a good family. They don't need your baggage showing up." Baggage. The word sliced deep, dredging up memories of my teenage rebellion. Running away at 16 after Dad's belt left welts, the abortion at 18 they'd forced me to keep secret, the failed marriages that followed. Heartbreak twisted in my chest, layered with denial. This can't be real. They're my parents. I dropped the invitation. It fluttered to the floor like a dead leaf. "You invited me," I whispered, my voice trembling despite the rage building inside. Mom scoffed, adjusting her pearl necklace. A gift from Ethan, of course. "That was before we thought about it. Sarah's parents are conservative. They know about your history." Her tone dripped with manipulation, revealing the hidden motive. Protect Ethan's perfect image, the golden child who'd escaped our dysfunctional nest to become a successful lawyer. Ethan, with his charming smile and effortless success, had always been their salvation, while I was the reminder of their failures. Resentment surged, authentic and raw. I'd sent money home during Dad's heart scare, covered Mom's gambling debts anonymously. And this was my thanks. Inner thoughts raced. Fantasies of justice, exposing their secrets at the wedding, watching their faces crumple. But doubt crept in. Am I the monster they say? I turned to leave, but Mom grabbed my arm, her grip surprisingly strong, nails digging into my sleeve. "Don't make a scene, Lila. Just go. Disappear quietly." The word disappear echoed, fueling obsession. Outside, the rain hammered the porch roof like accusations, the neighborhood streetlights flickering in the dusk, casting long shadows that mirrored my fractured resolve. I slid into my beat-up sedan, the leather seats cold and cracked, engine sputtering to life with a reluctant growl. As I drove away, the house shrank in the rearview mirror, a symbol of the life I'd never fit into. Guilt gnawed at me. Guilt for the pain I'd caused in my youth, for not being the daughter they wanted. But beneath it, cold resolve hardened. I'd planned something they couldn't ignore. Back in my dingy apartment in the city, the walls closing in like judgmental eyes, I paced the threadbare carpet, the hum of the fridge a constant drone. Sirens wailed outside, punctuating the night, while rain lashed the windows in sheets. I poured a glass of cheap whiskey, the burn down my throat matching the fire in my veins. Complex thoughts swirled. Denial first, they didn't mean it. It's stress from the wedding. Then fantasies. Crashing the ceremony, revealing Dad's affair from years ago, or Mom's pill addiction that Ethan had covered up. Doubt followed. What if revenge destroys me too? Fear tingled at the edges, losing the fragile family ties I still clung to. But planning began subtly, quiet calculation in the dim lamplight. I dug out old photo albums from under the bed, dust motes dancing in the air like forgotten memories. Pictures of us as kids, Ethan beaming, me in the background, always overshadowed. The next day, under a leaden sky, I met my old friend Carla at a greasy diner, the clatter of plates and sizzle of bacon providing cover for our whispers. Carla, with her sharp bob and sharper tongue, had been my confidant since high school. "They said what?" she gasped, coffee steaming between us, her eyes widening in authentic shock. "Lila, that's cruel. Even for them." Her words validated my anger, but revealed her own complexity. She'd borrowed money from me last year, never repaid, a subtle betrayal that mirrored my family's. "Still," I confided hints, "I want to make them pay." She leaned in, voice low. "Careful. Revenge is a double-edged sword." Tension heightened as I nodded, suppressed rage bubbling. Inside, moral conflict raged, justified or vengeful. Weeks passed in a slow burn, suspense building through mundane routines laced with strategy. I worked my dead-end job at the call center, voices droning in my headset like echoes of parental disdain, while evenings were for research. In the glow of my laptop screen, the apartment's musty air thick with takeout remnants, I uncovered secrets. Ethan's fiancée Sarah came from old money, her family pristine on paper but riddled with scandals, tax evasion, whispers of abuse. Subtle foreshadowing in emails I hacked, easy with Dad's predictable passwords, revealed Mom's desperation to impress them, even forging invitations. Obsession deepened, layered with guilt. I'm becoming like them, manipulative. A phone call from Ethan shattered the quiet. His voice, smooth as ever, crackled through the line as I sat on my fire escape, city lights sprawling below like a web of deceit. "Lila, Mom told me what happened. Sorry. But maybe it's best if you skip the wedding." Heartbreak hit fresh, resentment twisting. "Best for who?" I snapped, voice natural yet edged with rage. He sighed, revealing motivation. "Sarah's family is traditional. Your past. It could complicate things." Hidden motives emerged. He'd always protected his image, even at my expense. Doubt plagued me. Is he complicit or coerced? But the call fueled planning. I'd attend incognito, gather evidence. As invitations arrived for pre-wedding events, I declined publicly but plotted privately. At a bridal shower I accidentally stumbled upon, hiding in the shadows of the country club, the clink of champagne glasses and laughter a stark contrast to my isolation. I overheard Mom boasting to Sarah's mother. "Lila. Oh, she's not coming. Family issues." Suppressed rage boiled as I slipped away, rain-soaked again, cold resolve solidifying. Inner conflict peaked. Fear of confrontation, moral grayness of sabotage. Yet hints of vengeance emerged. Anonymous tips to Sarah's family about our skeletons, quiet and strategic. By the eve of the wedding, tension coiled like a spring. I'd rented a car, dyed my hair, prepared a disguise. In my motel room, the neon sign buzzing outside, I stared at the mirror, eyes haunted by layered emotions. This is justice, I told myself, but guilt whispered otherwise. The stage was set for retaliation, suspense undeniable. The wedding venue loomed under a canopy of storm clouds, the grand estate's manicured lawns slick with morning dew, the air heavy with the scent of blooming roses and impending rain. I slipped in through a side gate, disguised in a simple black dress and wide-brimmed hat, my heart pounding like a war drum. The ceremony tent buzzed with guests, silk dresses rustling, murmurs of excitement blending with the string quartet's melancholy notes. Ethan stood at the altar, impeccable in his tux, Sarah radiant beside him, unaware of the shadows I carried. As vows echoed, for better or worse, irony twisted in me. I'd planted seeds. Anonymous letters to Sarah's father detailing Dad's embezzlement from his old job, facts I'd unearthed weeks ago. Now, as the crowd applauded, I watched Dad's face pale when his phone buzzed, a text from his former boss. Slow burn suspense crested. Retaliation was here, quiet no longer. I mingled in the reception hall. Crystal chandeliers casting prismatic light on polished marble floors, the clatter of silverware and pop of corks heightening the facade. Mom spotted me first, her champagne flute slipping slightly, eyes narrowing in recognition despite the disguise. "Lila, what are you doing here?" she hissed, pulling me into a shadowed alcove, the velvet curtains muffling the band's upbeat tempo. Her breath smelled of gin, face flushed with fury and fear. "I told you to disappear." The word reignited obsession, but now layered with guilt. Her eyes held a flicker of regret, a moral complexity I'd ignored. "I'm here for the gift," I replied calmly, voice natural yet laced with suppressed rage. Inside, thoughts churned, doubt, will this heal or destroy? Planning complete but fear grips. Dad joined us, his tie askew, sweat beading on his forehead. "Get out before you ruin everything." His voice trembled, revealing vulnerability. He'd lost his job years ago due to that embezzlement, a secret Ethan had buried with hush money from his firm. Manipulation unveiled. They'd all conspired to keep me out, fearing I'd expose them. Heartbreak mingled with resentment as I whispered, "Too late." Subtle hints had built to this. The letters plus doctored photos I'd sent anonymously. Mom's affair evidenced in old emails, twisted to look current. Ethan's motivation: protect his career. He'd even paid off my debts once, not out of love but to silence me. Tension escalated as Sarah's father approached. His face thunderous, clutching a folder. My planted evidence. "Is this true?" he demanded, voice booming over the chatter, guests turning heads. The room hushed, the band's music faltering like a skipped heartbeat. Ethan froze at the head table, Sarah's hand on his arm tightening. "What is this?" she asked, voice quivering, her perfect day fracturing. Dad stammered, misunderstanding, but the damage spread like wildfire. Whispers rippled. "Embezzlement. Affair." Mom clutched Dad's arm, tears welling, authentic pain, her complexity shining. She'd favored Ethan to compensate for her own failures, but loved me in her broken way. I stepped forward, shedding the hat, voice steady amid the chaos. "It's all true. They've hidden it for years." Fury in Ethan's eyes as he advanced. "Lila, why?" Dialogue natural, revealing secrets. "Because you all chose to erase me." His response cracked. "We were protecting you from yourself." Moral grayness hit. His protection was control, but tinged with guilt. Obsession peaked, cold resolve pushing me to reveal more. A recording on my phone of Mom's gambling confessions, played aloud. The hall erupted, guests gasping, Sarah fleeing in tears. But the twist unraveled swiftly. As security escorted me out, rain now pouring in torrents, mud splattering my dress, Ethan cornered me in the parking lot. "You think this is revenge? I knew you'd come." His voice held suppressed rage, but something else, triumph. Hidden motives exploded. He'd orchestrated the initial rejection, knowing it'd provoke me, to justify cutting me off legally. "The will, Mom changed it last week. Everything to me, after your disappearance." Poetic justice reversed. My actions proved their narrative. I'm unstable, destructive. Psychological impact crushed me. Heartbreak anew, guilt overwhelming. I'd lost, consequences unexpected. Family severed, but Ethan exposed too, his marriage crumbling. In the downpour, alone in my car, wipers slashing futilely. Resolve fractured into regret. The greatest gift. Perhaps disappearing after all, but on my terms. Yet as lightning cracked the sky, a final whisper. Hidden bank statements in my pocket, evidence of Ethan's own fraud. The cycle continued, morally gray to the end. Revenge's echo unending.